What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rant to no hate. So check this out. I want to jump right into this. People are still talking about Glovegate. We're about to be into 2021. They're still talking about Glovegate. So I'm not going to make a video about Glovegate. I'm done with that. We haven't gotten any substantial evidence. We haven't gotten anything, no game-changing evidence, nothing that will make us say, oh, damn, you know what? I didn't know that before. Guess what we just found out? No. Nothing that's going to, like I said, nothing that's going to be a game changer. So all we've gotten is allegations and a bunch of nonsense. Let me say this. This story has become more and more like a couples therapy soap opera. It's garbage. It's nonsense. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. I don't support it. We've talked about the story. We talked about it because it's boxing news, but it's to the point where it's like, man, listen, this is so old school. You know, this is life. People are still talking about what happened, what really happened between Pac and Big. Is Bruce Lee really dead? You know, it's ridiculous how people just try to keep certain stories alive. So here's my thing, okay? Let me say this about Fury and about Wilder. And we're not going to go down the same route as Glovegate and trying to prove. Listen, let me say this. First off, for starters, okay, the most important thing about both fighters in this whole situation, okay, is what they didn't do. First off, if Fury was guilty of what Wilder said, Wilder, he never sued Fury for all these claims and accusations. Fury, he never sued Wilder for defamation of character. So you know what? They're both in a situation of finger pointing, more excuses being made. Okay, they leave room for allegations where, like for Wilder, the downside for him is, for one, he the way he handled it, but then two, Fury got the better of him in both fights. Because besides two knockdowns, he got his ass whooped. He got outboxed all night. You know, second fight, and let me just say, the first fight wasn't so action packed anyway, but he was getting outpointed. He was losing every round. Okay, and he got two knockdowns. Aside from that, he didn't really do much of anything. Second fight, we know what happened. He got his ass kicked, okay? So basically, regardless to what, he walks away from this with Fury getting the better of him. So for his ego and for his fans' ego, it hurts them. That, okay? For Fury, it's just for him to not fight Wilder now. The fact that he had he said he had a fight on December the 5th. He was trying to find an opponent. And for whatever reason, he couldn't find an opponent. It didn't happen. Then this whole mediation thing and all that. Okay, well, we already know. It just left a door open for his fans to go see. He just wanted out of that fight because he said he had a fight and he ain't fight nobody. Well, at the same time, right? You Wilder fans are not putting no pressure on him. Excuse me. See, for example, you'd rather sit here and go right along and let's reopen up this soap opera, because in case you guys don't know, this guy Drew has an interview with Emmanuel Stewart's nephew. And he's basically, what about the camera? How come if the camera would have went off and you was a cop, right? And all. So, okay, here's the deal. Okay. Now we're back to Wilder having someone talk for him again. Same old stuff. So the fact that it was handled the way it was handled, we got nothing but allegations and now more allegations. Okay. For all the people that's saying, oh, Fury just wanted to get out of the fight, this is exactly my point. It's just going to be allegation after allegation after allegation to redirect it all the way back to what happened in the ring, what happened in the dressing room, you know, what happened even though JD's was in there, but what all of this nonsense. But instead of you guys saying, all right, wait, Wilder, we rock with you. All right, we rock with you. But let's be real, bro. You said you're moving on from Coward Fury. You have a fight coming up, and basically you're coming back for a purpose. No, you don't want to put that pressure on him to say, let's move on, man. You said you moved on, so let's move on. Why are we going backwards? No, it's right back to the, see, yeah, good point, Drew. No, it's not a good point. We've already heard this already. All it is a bunch of recycled nonsense. So here's my thing. The only thing I want to know, whether, from either one of you, are you motherfuckers going to fight or not? Simple. If you're not going to fight each other, and all you guys are going to do is sit back and be silent about everything, and then once in a blue moon, open up your mouth to take verbal shots at each other, but nothing's happening. Look, that's all I'm concerned about with those two. Are they going to fight somebody? Even if not each other, somebody. Because this whole soap opera nonsense is trash. Let's be real. For Fury, if you really want to fight AJ like you say you do, you really about that undisputed, you want AJ, you'll knock him out, he's a bum, I'll knock him out in 3 rounds. Okay, then why don't you go through, whatever deal with Eddie Hearn, with AJ. AJ already said, hey, I don't even care about the money. 50-50. We just split it 50-50, me and Fury. And only thing right now is about where we're going to have. That would be the only thing he said that may be an issue. Maybe is where the fight will take place because of COVID or whatever. But other than that, nothing. He already said that he would drop his WBO to fight you. He think fighting you is bigger than unification. I don't, but he does. And I'm certainly not going to lose no sleep about it. It's his career, not mine. But at the same time, he already made that clear. So if that's the case, and he's willing to let his WBO go so you and him can fight, what's the hold up with the fight on your end? Because at the same time, now, not only did you not fight on the 5th like you said you was going to do, but you still haven't had an opponent. Yet you keep saying things about AJ. But there's no effort being made by you. We're not hearing anything from Team Fury. Okay, so fight somebody. Because as far as you and Wilder are concerned, that's the only interest I would have. Matter of fact, I'm not even interested in the third fight between the two of you. First off, personally, I'm not. I don't even care about a third fight. Okay, like I said, I can understand why Wilder may want a third fight. And not even because not even saying because I believe his claims, but the fact he got his ass whooped, he want to redeem himself. Okay, as far as you're concerned, I can understand you feeling like, man, I done kicked your ass twice. But at the same time, you're not fighting Dillian White. You're not fighting AJ. You're not fighting Wilder. So what are you doing? Same time for Wilder, though. Dillian White's called you out. But you claim you wanted to fight. You've been ready since September. Right? But you have no fight. Now, Alexander Usyk is calling you out. And you still haven't responded. But out of your mouth, you said you wanted Dillian White or, what's his name, Andy Ruiz. Yet you've made no steps to do anything. And the first thing we hear out of your camp from somebody from your team or your friend stable or whatever how you want to call it, it's about Glovegate again. Man, this is sickening. Teofimo Lopez said Wilder's acting like a bitch. I agree with him. That's what he's acting like, a 6'7", 200, whatever he weighed bitch, man. This is crazy, bro. Why are we even, and by the way, I'm giving you guys news, so I don't want to see it sound like Gordon Soley, well, yeah, he says this and he says that. And so, no, I'm not in my feelings. Don't think that at all, okay? Here's the real reality, though. As a man, I'm not into this soap opera stuff. Why are you not fighting anyone? Why is Fury not fighting anyone? Now, if people are going to say, well, maybe it's because they're waiting till after the new year. That's not what you said before. And if that's the case, then you know what? You need to call your minions off and have them keep silent and shut up, because they're back to trying to open up Glovegate. This is where I'm looking at this guy going, I think Wilder would jump in that ring and get his ass beat by a person you don't expect to beat Wilder. Because I think, you see, this is what happens. Okay. Not to be cliche, but this is something that I've seen in many people at different aspects of life. When you're supposed to handle something and you don't, and you keep talking about it, but then you don't, and then you get away from it and you call yourself mentally focused and all, you know what happens? You become a coward to that situation. And you wind up doing something different, and it just doesn't go your way. And that could very well happen to this guy, because I don't understand how he says what he says, does what he does, and people just give him a free pass like they don't see the reality and how fake that this whole thing is. And the same way people are pointing fingers and you can say, look, Fury, you making a fool out yourself. The same for Wilder. Where's your opponents? You say people names, but then you don't do anything. That's one of the things I respected about Floyd Mayweather. Because if Floyd Mayweather's not fighting the guy, you come asking Floyd about, well, after this fight, if you win this, how about such and such? Floyd will tell you in a heartbeat, well, we're not here to talk about such and such. You know, right now I got such and such in front of me. That's my focus. Hey, to everybody out there, buy the pay-per-view, tune in. You're going to see a hell of a fight. That's what he did. And that's what every fighter should do. Calling all these guys' names out, talking about what you'll do to them, but then you don't fight them. Makes you look like a straight sucker. Bottom line. I don't want to hear nothing about, no, I'm just letting you guys know. I'm letting the family know I'm not talking about Glovegate anymore. I've already talked about it. We're not digging into that, who said and who did and who accused who, but how come this happened? And if this, there is nothing else we can say about it that we haven't already said 10 million freaking times already. And it's just so crazy because I'm sitting there going, damn, you mean to tell me boxing is so sucky right now and so sour? And I got to say it that way, looking through the lenses of you guys, because you can't find nothing to talk about other than this nonsense. And on top of it all, you all know it's nothing but recycled garbage that we've heard already. So why are we still talking about Glovegate? Why try to resort back to, let's do an interview and talk about what happened and why it happened and what would you did if you was in that situation and blah, 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 blah. And again, same thing, one of his minions sitting there all in his feelings talking for him. We're not going to talk about it. I don't care what kind of news comes out. Like I said, unless somebody's going to jail, unless something actually comes out, some proof, some evidence, that there's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to revisit. We're not going to do it. I'm like Floyd now. We're not here to talk about, we're not going to talk about Glovegate. We're going to talk about other things in boxing. It's so much other things. There's not really much going on. I mean, we've had fights, so we've had other things to talk about. There is other things to talk about in boxing, okay? But at the same time, it's like we're putting something that should have, like a fire that should have been stomped out and watered down. I mean, from the time that what should have happened and what should have been said didn't happen, that fire should have been stomped out. And we're going to sit here and allow people to just keep reiterating and bringing. I think the best way to handle this is everybody just ignore. Don't even listen to either side. Why? Because nothing new's coming up. And then when something new comes up, if you look, you see this one doing this and this one, and now all of a sudden it looks different. And now all of a sudden, the shoe's on the other foot. And that, okay, are you motherfuckers going to fight or no? If I was face to face with either one of them, that's exactly what I would say. That's all I want to know. Are you going to get your nuts up and fight him? Are you going to get your nuts up and fight him? What is it? Are you going to fight somebody? Anybody? But to keep sitting back here talking about the same things over and over, nah. So anyway, look, that's one of the things I noticed. I've been noticing this, and it's like every day, somebody's making a video about that nonsense. And I'm like, wow. Every single day. We dig into the boxing news. He's trying to see what's happening. I don't even watch these videos. I don't care. And when I saw the thing with the video with Sugar Hill and this guy Drew, I'm like, are you serious, man? Are you serious? Now we're going to dig back into this again? I mean, it's bad enough that the millions are doing it, but now here you are, you're getting Sugar Hill on this interview. I don't know what persuaded him to even accept the offer to come on to, um, um, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he didn't want people to feel like he was ducking and dodging or whatever. Well, you're not the one being under the microscope. It's Fury. And again, we know the details already. So it's just a waste of time. So as far as that is concerned, I'm addressing this because this way, I'm not talking about Glovegate at all, but just the fact that people are still talking about it. Okay, and where these guys stand right now, what they should be doing to go forward in their careers. Because, be honest with you, look, we know Fury can fight, but at the same time, Tyson Fury, he has no problem taking the easy way out, taking some tomatoes, some tomato can fights, some meatball fights. We know that. Then he'll have, look, he doesn't fight. If you look at the amount of years he's been fighting, he doesn't have a whole lot of fights because he's been out for those 3 years and all, and he just doesn't fight that often. But I'm tired of guys calling out other guys, claiming they want to fight, talking trash, then nothing happens. So if everybody's waiting for the new year, yet AJ's trying to make everything happen, and he's the only one that has mandatories out of all these other heavyweights. He's the only one with mandatories. At the end of the day, my only concern is, are you going to fight or no? I don't care. Like I said, they can do 20 more videos talking about Glovegate. I'm not going to address what was said. Like I said, if nobody's going to jail behind this, if nobody decides, the fight is on, there's nothing to talk about. And I really feel like people need to just ignore all of it so it'll go away. Because what I'm looking at from both fighters, like I've already stated, they're not fighting anybody. Tyson Fury's not talking about it, at least not on, I don't, probably not even in his private life, but he's not talking about it on social media. Wilder is allowing somebody to step up and make an interview about it again. But they both claim they had fights going forward. They both claim they moved on from the other. Now, in this scenario, this is Team Wilder bringing this thing back up again. But at the same time, it's the responses, the amount of people, the reactions that people get. And a lot of people have already said, man, I'm tired of Wilder. People that was like, yeah, bomb squad. Now they're like, man, I'm tired of this guy. And of course, you got the core people that's going to stick around and continue to sing praises of a guy who got battered all over the ring and did nothing about it, but made some claims and finger pointing, but did nothing about it except have a little bullshit mediation over a fight that didn't happen. But yet you claim you're going forward in your career. Yet you fought nobody. So are you just talking, or have you become a complete coward? What is it? Which is it? At the end of the day, we've heard Mauricio Suleiman say several times already, Tyson Fury is not obligated to fight Wilder. And he said it a long ass time ago. So I don't know what happened to people's memories, but he said either guy can go fight whoever they want. Their third fight agreement was verbal, and that's not something new. That's been said a long time ago. But at the same time, the contract that they had, because they claimed that they was going forward with the third fight, but they let it expire. And we know the fight kept getting pushed back. We already know that. But right now, what efforts are you guys making to fight? Listen, don't tell me you can't find somebody. There's somebody out there. Michael Hunter already threw his name out there. Okay? He already threw his name out there. Alexander Usyk already said he wants to fight Wilder. He called Wilder out. He wants to fight Deontay Wilder. Okay? Nobody with the thinking processes believe in none of this garbage and feeding into it. It's like you didn't do nothing about it. Neither one of you did nothing about it. You made claims, you denied claims. There was nobody sued, and basically you're holding up your own careers. That's what you're doing. So don't give me no crap about, oh, you can't find somebody. First of all, if you're not fighting somebody noteworthy, You can have a fight. They'll have a fight put together. Okay, they can put a fight together. It's in front. It's empty rooms anyway. Nobody's gonna come and you know how they get 1,000 people in the building or 5,000 like they did for Canelo or whatever, or however many it was. But yeah, that's against an opponent that has a name, that has some steam. Nobody's gonna come out to see you fight no goddamn Carlos Takam or whoever the guy was that you chose. And the same for Wilder. So if you guys are not looking to fight an Oscar Rivas or Dillian White, you know, somebody, then, you know, or Andy Ruiz. And as much as I'm not interested in seeing Luis Ortiz fight anybody at this stage in his career, I mean, I definitely don't want to see Wilder and Ortiz again. I don't want to see Fury and Ortiz. I'll be honest with you. I just don't want to see. I'm not excited about an Ortiz fight. Like I said, this stage in his career, and what he's already not been able to accomplish. I mean, it's just going to be the same. You throw a name out that he's famous for getting beat twice by Wilder, because basically that's the only name he has on his whole resume. So at the end of the day, if you guys are going to sit back here for the people that's going to applaud this whole and support this whole soap opera and continue to just indulge into this whole finger pointing back and forth garbage, you do that. But I'm not covering it. I have no interest in it. It's nothing to gain. It's nothing knowledgeable. It's nothing. And exactly, it's nothing but a shit stain on the name of boxing. That's this whole situation. That's all it is. That's all it is. There's nothing positive about it. And anything that you can gain from it, if you haven't gained it by now, you won't. And what you should have gained is the common sense to realize that bullshit happens all the time. And here's another case of it. The way this was handled was trash. The way it was presented to the public was trash. All these allegations and things that keep coming up is trash. It's complete trash. That's what it is. And if we're going to sit here and have platforms just so we can sit up and, let me tell you what happened. And this one said this. Whoa, guess what? And now he said, who cares? I never liked soap operas anyway. And that's all this is. Some like I said, this is some couples retreat type nonsense. I'm not talking to him. I'm mad at him because he said this and he did this. Well, I ain't talking to him either. And this and that, and I don't care. And I'm in my feelings because he said and he did. Grown ass men. This is what we've come to with our boxing platforms. This is what's going on in boxing right now. That this is all we can talk about. Which is why I put the Strong Ladies video up on purpose. I did that on purpose. Why? Salute. I don't feel like women get their props. I don't feel like women are looked at as equals to men. I don't feel like, and when I say that, don't get me wrong. What I'm talking about, being able to have a choice in decision making to where they're treated fairly. Now, I'm not saying like let me give an example. Like someone was talking about the WNBA the other day. And I said, well, they talk about why the WNBA is not profitable. I said, listen, you got to understand something. When you have certain physical limitations where you can't produce the same excitement that people are used to seeing, you're going to have a hard time trying to play catch up. So the WNBA has to find other things to incorporate into the sport as well to get attention. And I don't mean like try to do some sexy type stuff or something like, no, I mean something the way they package the sport, something. Like I'll give you an example of something, right? When you think about Vince Carter, Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, people who can do exciting things on the court, and then they're watching the females and they can't dunk from the foul line and do all these crazy moves like that, and you have a handful of them that you even see dunk. They don't, stuff like that, then it's like, So I'm not saying you should watch something just to watch it, but I try to give support, like Clarissa Shields, for example. I feel like she need to be, mentioned more in the sport of boxing. Then she need to be, and nowadays with social media, people can promote themselves. I feel like Terrence Crawford don't do anything to promote himself, and his team does nothing to promote him. But this is where you have to say, you know what? Where you guys are failing or lacking. Look, there's several fighters who have their own YouTube show now, YouTube channels, YouTube shows, podcasts. You have to find other ways to keep yourself relevant, to get your name out there. You know, and I feel like with all of what Clarissa Shields has accomplished, people still don't give her props. You know, Hania Gabriels. There's people out there, but then they'll say, oh man, Clarissa beat bums. Wait, she beat bums. If you look at 90% of the conversations about the mailboxes, all you hear is somebody's overrated, somebody's all hype, this person's trash. But yet, when it comes to female fighters, so that's why I put the video up. It's like just females chilling, doing their thing out there, making it, and some idiot had to, oh, they all on steroids, they're all gonna die before they're 40. Oh, they're this, they're that. They're intimidating. Oh, I'd be scared to bring her home. And I'm like, yeah, only a bitch-made man would be intimidated by him. And whoever the idiot was, I guess he took his comments down, but I blocked his ass anyway. Because at the end of the day, the negative nonsense and everything that's going on in boxing, it's like, goddamn, we can't just have a discussion about a boxing topic and enjoy it. Because somebody has to find that ignorant spot in their brain and say, let me tap into that and find the dumbest thing I can think of and then type it in. And it's usually somebody who's not even, pretty much all the time, it's somebody who's not even in the family. Somebody who just, let me see what this is about. And they sit there and just find something to sit in and just to try to screw up a perfectly good conversation, a good vibe, because these lonely, no life having people who have nothing better to do with their time, this is what they do. And they sit there and just troll, grown ass men. So it is what it is. But at the end of the day, there's certain stories in boxing I don't even want to talk about. Because we're not celebrating boxing. We're not celebrating the accomplishments of the fighters. We spend, or should I say we waste more time talking about the negative nonsense and just being negative about everything. And you got these guys, these so-called boxing fans who never had a schoolyard fight. They can't remember the last time they had a fight. Not 2 years ago, not last year, not last week, not last night, not never. But they're such experts on everything about boxing, and all they do is either one, they choose their countrymen, two, somebody from their state, or three, they just go with whoever the popular choice is. And those are the ones who make the most ignorant comments. There's a lot of fighters who I see and I'm like, this guy's, he's good. I don't know and don't care where you're from. I'm looking at your skill set. And that's how I get down. But you got these idiots who've never, ever, don't know nothing physically about going through this kind of pain that we fighters go through. Don't know nothing about it, but yet they have so much to say. And wouldn't last 30 fucking seconds in the ring with none of us. But I look at y'all and I'm like, you know, people use their platforms all wrong. But at the same time, to each his own. So for all the minions that want to jump on the bandwagon with all this nonsense, you go right ahead. I'm going to continue to do things the way I do. But at the end of the day, Fury need to step his game up. Either you're going to fight AJ or not. Wilder need to step his game up. You're going to fight somebody, or you're going to keep sitting back bitching and pissing and moaning because you got your ass beaten, did nothing about it but make excuses. So at the end of the day, I'm tired of talking about it. We're not talking about Glovegate. Simple as that. We're not going to talk about none of that. It's just a shame that people are letting these guys get away with this whole nonsense. Right now, all you Wilder fans need to be going, hey, Deontay, come on, man. You said you was moving on. You moving on with your life. You ain't worried about Fury. Fury's a coward. He ran from you. You moving on. But now you guys are bringing it back up. You guys need to be telling Fury, all you Fury fans, hey, Fury, man, come on. You talk about you'll knock AJ out in 3 rounds. AJ's a bum, blah, 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 all this crap and all this. Fury's just a character. He talks, and then all of a sudden now, what are you doing? In fact, what happened to your fight that was supposed to happen? You going to tell me you can't find nobody to fight you? You're the WBC champion. So even if it's a non-title match, what if they beat you? You know the position that put them in? So you know, all this nonsense about not being able to find somebody. Come on, man, stop. Stop. Somebody's out there looking for a fight. Anyway, never fall in love with lies. And remember, the truth brings hate out of people. And that's all I'm going to say in this video. I will catch y'all on the next one.